going on, everybody? Almost in full color, back with another podcast. But before we start, we just like to take this moment to say we do not endorse racism, bigotry, sexual harassment, sexual assault, and that we understand that we cover a lot of games that have violent elements to them. And although we do enjoy these games, we don't believe it is right to oppress any individual or maim a person physically or emotionally. To all the people we know who are struggling right now, we're praying for you. For those who have come forward with their stories, we're very glad that you were able to do so, and we hope that you're in a better space now. And for those who are struggling in silence, we hope that you get through it. Tomorrow's a brighter day. We don't say be easy and be blessed at the end, just have some random catchphrase. We do truly hope that whoever finds these videos finds them in great health, and that we can exchange thoughts and create a bond through gaming in a very peaceful and safe way. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, you know my co-creators that are here. Plucka, Yellow Squirrel, and T the Best. We are here. And we are well. Well, I think we're well, gentlemen. How are you all feeling today?
Got somebody.
Pretty good.
We got somebody.
And Tiger is there.
Oh God, this is gonna be a thing.
Yeah, it will be a thing, but it probably won't last long. Won't last long.
Well, all right. I think we should get to the first topic. It actually wasn't in the pre-production thing, but Horizon Zero Dawn has come to PC, and with that has come a set of issues already. So they dropped on PC, and I guess people were VPNing to other countries to get the game for a cheaper price. So in Argentina, I think the game was like $7. So people, I guess, were just VPNing over there to grab the game for $7. And when they saw this influx happening, I suppose they raised the price in Argentina from that $7 threshold about 389%. So almost touched $21 pretty much. Or it
should be almost over $28.
Yes.
It should be around 26-ish.
Thank you, Mathlete Plucker. From there, I mean, they just bounced around the countries after that. You know, once they saw Argentina went up, they went to Turkey. Once that went up, they went to Russia, South Africa. So they were doing basically just pick the country to get the game for the cheapest price. Is this a issue now? Like, is this the first big PlayStation? I think this is the first big PlayStation game to come over to PC. So, like, is this something that you see as going to be a forever issue for them, or is this something that they're going to have to fix very soon?
I never knew they had different prices for games like that. Usually it'll be like maybe a couple dollars. I wouldn't even say that. Usually it's not there. Like, I know Canada usually paid more than but
well, they technically don't pay more. They only pay more if you, I guess, say they're paying in US dollars, then I guess technically, but they only pay 50 whatever the Canadian 50 euros or whatever they go by.
It's usually about like $10 higher for their money, which is
their money's worth more. So technically, are they paying more? They only really pay more because we're going off our scale. But if their money is worth more per dollar than ours, then technically it's balancing out at the end of the day. But that's what I mean. It's weird to like say they pay $10 more, but their money is worth more, and they actually pay less. I guess since it's only 50 euros, other than 60 US dollars, but 50 euros somehow comes out to almost $70 in the United States. So it's like, are we really paying more? Or are they paying more?
It'll be interesting to see how people handle it going forward, though. I don't know if there's a way to stop it, maybe. I don't know if you can region lock it again, because I think beforehand they were region locked, but maybe not anymore.
I just figured that they would just, like, whatever country or whatever you're hosting that game in to sell it on. I mean, obviously, when you go to pay it, why wouldn't the money just convert? You know, no different than if you take United States money over to like Dominican Republic. You know, like your dollar is like 40 of their dollars. So you would still be paying, I guess you technically get it cheaper because you're paying $1 in the United States other than $10. But why wouldn't they just make it, say if it's $40, 40 Dominican Republic dollars, whatever they're called. Why wouldn't you just make it like 400 of theirs? So that you would have to pay $10 if it was $10 in the United States. And that
I
way
think they were doing it to match that like economy, just to like have games over there, so you weren't just basically running up for people who really couldn't afford it, I suppose, is why they said they kind of had different price points for different countries to try to get people to to afford some of these games.
I wonder,
this
is this
is a
something that happens a lot?
3-4-year-old game.
I don't think
I
so.
don't know if it
gaming?
happens with. I have no idea. As we all know, I don't game on PC, so
Yeah, I don't play on it either. That's what
I
I was
just know
saying. Is this,
streaming services is the only place I ever really hear of any advantage taken of. Because like Netflix, a lot of people VPN to watch other shows that's not in America.
I think the only
But I
time
never-
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I would say I never heard it with video games itself because I always thought generally the price was the price.
Yeah, nah, the only time I've heard of it is when people want to unlock a game, and this is mostly on the Nintendo Switch. When the Pokemon games were released, people would try to go to like Australia with their game, or like they'll switch their Nintendo Switch and start it all over and be like, yeah, I'm registering on Australia so I can get the game early. Never heard of people doing it to, pay less, or I guess less, and for their entities there are quotations.
yeah, that is weird. I don't know. Maybe it's just getting more publicity now because it was a big game coming over.
Probably.
So a lot of people went to buy it. But I mean, if everyone did it for this game, I would assume they have to be doing it a lot, or maybe for some odd reason it doesn't work. Maybe it was maybe they don't translate into English or something. I don't know. It just seems odd that this would be like something new that everyone just stumbled across when they probably use the same system they've always used to play and purchase PC games.
I wonder if it's just because it's a Sony game and they probably, I don't know. It's sold on Steam, isn't it? Or is it sold on something else? Okay. So maybe it's just something that Steam and Sony just kind of never worked out fully into it. It's like, yo, can these people hop around? If so, but there's supposed to be a lot more Sony games coming to PC later on. So
Death Stranding comes out later this year.
Yeah, so maybe they'll fix it by then. Or maybe we just won't hear about it ever again after this. I guess we'll never hear about it ever again after this.
So speaking of prices, we've seen some new prices for NBA 2K21. That is, was it $69.99?
Yep.
$69.99.
Nice.
Nice.
That's what they say on the internet. That's what the young folks say.
Oh, okay.
Young folks say
69,
nice.
you got it. Nice.
Well, Jim, how do you feel about that? Well, I guess.
Or Steve Amari 1989. Let's get that out on the tray. Nice. I watched that shit all night. But anyway, back to what we're talking about. Nice hiss.
I guess singularly for this game, how do y'all feel about like a sports game coming out with that price point? As we know, sports games don't carry much into the next year. So how do you all feel about this like individual game at this price point?
Well, hold on. Well, the games do last for the next year. Games is the testament to this. He's been playing 2K18 for years. 16 for 4 years now.
Playing it since I'm playing my player, but yeah. But I mean, I don't have an issue about it just because I knew it was coming. It was overdue. I think me and Roger was actually talking about this the other day, to where I want to say when PlayStation 1 came out, that's when we got to the $50 games. And then PlayStation 2 came out, they hovered right around that 50. And then PlayStation 3 came out and we jumped to 60. PlayStation 4 came out, we still stayed at about $60. So if you're going with the pattern, we have PlayStation 5, it's time for a price hike. And they always seem to be $10. For whatever reason, they only jump up $10. I guess the only issue I would have with it is, since obviously both platforms, Microsoft and Sony, are starting to push digital, you would think you would see a reduction in price due to the lack of logistical preparation that goes into pushing these games all across the world. I mean, obviously you have to pay for shipping, and sure as little tariffs and all types of little stuff that they have to deal with production of the game manuals, even though a lot of those have been transferred over to digital on the disc. You don't really get too many illustrative handbooks like you used to back in the day, but you still got cases and things like that. Obviously, I'm sure they make thousands of cases for like $1, but still, but like I said, I'm not shocked. I figured that would happen, and all sports games are always priced at whatever the rate is for a game. Like if it's $60, the sports game is going to be $60. So if I feel like the sports game just kind of revealed that, yeah, you're going to be paying $70 for pretty much every PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X game in the next generation, besides maybe little smaller games we might get for around $40 still, $50, something like that. Kind of like how we would get a little $20 to $30 game on the PlayStation 4. So I wish they didn't jump it, but I'm not shocked. And I mean, honestly, what are you going to do about it? If Xbox is selling it for the same price, then there's no, which they have to, because obviously it's a publisher thing. But I mean, it is what it is. Get ready to crack out that extra $10.
Yeah, it's interesting that 2K is the one that everybody's kind of going against. Maybe it's just because 2K has so many monetary like transactions.
Well, it's the only game that revealed the price, oddly enough.
Yeah,
I don't know why, or just leaked, but
I'm about to say it'll be interesting to see how it goes. I mean, it is kind of maybe not overdue, but it was expected at some point in time. We, like I said, we've been playing $60 for games since before I can even remember.
So it's been the last 10, 14 years,
give or take. Yeah, I mean, it's been a long time, and it's pretty much about to happen if it even continues on with it. That is like 2K is gonna do it, so we'll see if any other game or publisher wants to follow suit, which probably will. But I don't know, maybe they're the guinea pig right now, kind of like how the old PlayStation model looked. So, we'll see how this goes.
I was about to say, sadly, I know most games are 60, but how things are set up now, like with season pass and all, I feel like a lot of games just in general cost 80 anyways now. It would be interesting to see how they do the season passes and all. Will they still be the $20? Will they jack those up too? That would suck. Or will it be like maybe 80 and you kind of get 70 for the base and 80 for that? That would be nicer. I doubt they'll do that. But it would be interesting to see where all the DLC prices will lay. If it is the $20 seems to be about a norm for a season pass or big expansions. And then was it like 5 or 10 for the other stuff? Curious if those go up. I hope not, but
yeah, I feel like Roger just encroached on what I was going to speak to, which is I hate this whole price point. I mean, number one, it's a sports game, and you're going to expect me to pay this again next year and then again a year after that. And we've never seen any, at least with sports games by themselves, I feel like they always should have had some format of, if you bought the last one, take $5 or $10 off, just out of just continuously buying the game year by year, because you're not really getting a whole lot in my eyes in terms of the year by year. Now for games, he's at 16 now. If he jumps to 2K21, for him it's going to be a drastic jump. I imagine that may
I'm not ready for all that Zion sweat, Keith. I'm not ready.
But outside of that, we've played so many games that felt unfinished or just like they were works in progress, and then they slow drip DLC later on that we further had to pay for to kind of get that finished feeling product. So to have to like charge it another 10, where we Anthem being like one of them, we played a lot of them that felt like the whole idea wasn't executed, and then it wasn't. I mean, they just gave it to us like an unfinished product. And also, like Roger was saying, there's so many just DLC thingies between season passes and all that. We already dump a lot of money in, so to now like kind of say like, oh, we need you to come up off an extra 10. Now for some games like the indies and all that, if they would benefit tremendously from that, but it has yet to be seen whether or not
But do you think they could sell for that? Usually indie titles are the ones that kind of cut a little lower, like 60 instead of 60. You might get like a $29.99, $39.99 type game. So, but they could get a little increase. They might go to like $49.99, and you see that as cheaper. But
yeah, I personally don't like this this price unless things felt more stable. Then yeah, I mean maybe if we were getting games that felt more fleshed out
complete.
and all that, and yeah, just.
True.
But I feel like for a lot of the big games that we really go for it in recent, like last year, a lot of them just kind of fell through. So, and even some of them, oh no, last year, this year has been pretty good. This year has been pretty good on that front.
That's just because Final Fantasy 7 came out. Yeah, we know you.
We know exactly what he was kind of going for.
Actually, there's been a lot of single player games, so I don't think there was much issues. The more I'm thinking about it,
I'm pretty sure most of them have been, but I mean,
yeah.
A bunch of games that have been released recently, like you said, it's not complete. You get a game and it's just like, hey, DLC's coming out in 2 weeks, and it's like, well, wait a second.
Or if it's Final Fantasy
I just bought this.
They tell you about it as soon as you play it.
Or yeah, exactly, the demo,
the
or
little
whatever.
casino, and they're like, this will be open by DLC on December or whatever. You're like, did you definitely playing this already?
I
But
think Gaines has nightmares about that casino.
I think he does. I'm pretty sure
it was so. I mean, you could visit it, like you could go there, and everything just was closed, and it's like, oh yeah, this will be open when you buy the holiday DLC, and it's like that was odd. But you know what? One thing that might actually be, I guess, a slightly good thing I guess that could be possible since the games are being bumped up to $70. Is I'm sure everyone knows that, or at least what's reported. I don't know how true it is, but is that all these, Sony, Microsoft, Nintendo, when they sell their consoles, they usually sell at a loss. Usually they recoup those prices on the software side of things. Obviously accessories probably as well, but more so their software. So do you think that possibly the $70 price hike is to offset costs of the next gen system so that could keep them more in line with the price points we were more comfortable with paying? Like maybe that could keep the PS5 in the $400, possibly $500 range instead of, I mean, for what the PS5 has, I mean, you're looking at what, at least over $1,000 if that was a PC. So is that their way of kind of saying, all right, we'll sell it at a loss, keep your introductory price that you're more comfortable with paying, but akin to purchasing a car. It's like, the down payment would be what you can afford, but the interest rate is going to be a little bit higher. So we'll tack on a little bit on that monthly payment, but that's a little more digestible for you. And yeah, you'll pay a teeny bit more, but you're still comfortable, and we can still recoup our losses, back at a normal rate at what they're used to getting it. So
it's same as like a car. It sounds nice short term, but long term.
Yeah, long term they screw
yeah.
you. Yeah. But that's how they do it for people who don't have a lot of money.
That could be interesting because
introductory rate and stretch it out over time, and they're like, you can afford a lot of small payments, but at the end, like you said, instead of paying $1,000, you'll pay like $1,800.
Games, that was a perfect analogy and a really nice 10 out of 10.
Anytime you want to put in the games made really good points and all that stuff in your videos, man, I'm here for it. I liked it so fast, and then I actually turned it off. I was like, that was a great video. And then I was like, wait, Keith didn't even start talking yet. I thought that was everything. I thought it was complete. I was like, that was great information.
So Roger, Sony has begun promoting indies, and probably the biggest promo that they've done for indies that I've ever seen. A lot of them look really dope, though. How do you personally feel about all these indies getting, Sony, full marketing team seeming to be behind them?
I like it a lot. I'm always big into the indie game scene. Obviously, PC was where most of the home was, but we did see this like a couple years ago with like the Switch, and the Xbox did do that one time. They were kind of promoting a lot more indie teams and trying to get them like under the Microsoft Xbox label. But then again, like I said, the Switch has gotten a lot of indie games, and I think that's been helping the market. So I think it's good for Sony to help dive in. I know the big initial conference, they had a lot of mixed indie games in there, which actually shocked me. I was waiting for a lot more bigger titles, but we had the Lemmings game. I can't think of the name. That looked really good. But promoting it, I enjoy it a lot, and I think it helps out. It will be curious how they'll price a lot of these indie games, because indie games tend to be maybe on the shorter side and usually not as well production as the AAA titles. So it will be interesting how to do that, but maybe that's how they're countering the price hike of the AAA titles. Maybe they'll be like, hey, there's cheaper other games, and maybe that's going to be the angle eventually. That'll be it.
I might say some indie games are actually really dope. I can't really think of the ones that I've actually played, but they're actually really well developed, which is weird considering how small most of these indie companies are. Like, you know, you hear of some teams that have 10 people working on it, and it looks as great as a AAA title. And it's just like, this is actually kind of going well. So Sony kind of stepping in is nice, but let's see how well they actually do try to push them. You know, if they're going to be like, hey, here's a bunch of this. You know, here's more money for it. And then are you going to start trying to push these guys to make AAA titles after seeing what they did with an indie kind of game? Or are you just going to kind of leave them there? Like, okay, you did your one. All right, move on. We're done with you now. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes, because I think the last one that's done really well is Dreams on the PlayStation.
I don't know. I didn't play it.
I could be
Never
wrong.
even heard of it, to be honest.
I heard of it. I was trying to think that's the same people that made Flower for some reason, but I could be completely off.
you.
I've heard of Flower. That was the game kind of like Journey.
Yeah.
But like Dreams looks good. It looks good for an indie title. I can't tell you how many people actually worked on it entirely, but if they can continually push these indie companies to kind of continually do well and then start grooming them into be like, okay, so you've done these ones. Let's see if you can kind of work on a AAA title, because then we'll have a lot more developers doing AAA titles that actually could be good. But
Dreams was Little Big Planet people.
Media Molecule.
Yeah, that I was about to say, I knew it was some group that worked with Sony. I just couldn't remember.
Yeah, so we'll see how it kind of goes forward, maybe in the next year to 2 years, and see how they kind of act after that. But right now, it's a good kind of push. I mean, everybody else is going for it. Why not jump in for it too? Let's just see who does it better than the others.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not a huge indie game person, not because I don't enjoy them, but normally I just don't end up playing them for whatever odd reason. Probably more so because I play sports games, and those tied in with AAA titles is like doesn't leave much time for other things. I've played probably the most indie games on Stadia, and that's only because, I mean, the library of Stadia isn't huge, which in a weird way forces you to play games that you wouldn't normally play. And since, I mean, you don't have to wait or do anything. Like, it's easy to just say, click, let me just try it out real quick. And it doesn't feel like you really invest anything into it, especially when they give them out for free, you know. But anyway, the one good thing I will say about indie games, and Terry kind of touched on it, was, you know, when you have, I guess, a small group, or sometimes maybe just one, sometimes two people, that, you know, they can really put together something good because it's your vision from beginning to end, without many people being able to influence it or outright reject some of your ideas because they don't feel it'll be profitable. You know, a lot of times when it's those bigger companies, those bigger, you know, publishers or development groups, other things besides making a great game comes into play. Like, that may be great, but it's like, is there really the right climate to maybe put that scene into the game? Like, yeah, it probably would have made the story better, but we don't want any backlash from people that might try to, you know, boycott our game or something. So maybe take that out, or maybe change the direction. And obviously, if you're an artist, if you have someone trying to tell you what to do with your own art, it usually doesn't turn out all that well, because, I mean, it really isn't yours anymore. So I'm happy they let them do it. I feel like a lot of times, though, those small developers were working on their own. And then, like, when the game is almost done, it's almost like they kind of sell it to these bigger companies like Sony, Microsoft, and it's like, kind of like, look what we're working on. Like, we think this would be good on your system, you know. And then they kind of look at it and be almost like what Media Molecule did. Like, they had the fundamentals for Little Big Planet. They brought it to Sony and was like, you know, hey, we think this would be something good. And Sony was like, we'll give you guys a shot. Here's a little studio. Go ahead, do what you do. And it turned out Little Big Planet was a huge hit on the PS3. So I guess that's technically an indie game. I played that. Yay me.
Yeah, a lot of indie games look really dope right now. There's this hard looking Castlevania one, like an old school Castlevania. It's what I'm really looking forward to, but
Oh, never mind. I thought you were talking about Bloodstain.
no, wait, is that what it was called? Maybe.
That was the people who redid. It was the people who did Castlevania.
Oh, okay.
Kind of like the guy who did Mega Man, who made that Mighty Number 9.
Yeah.
Because he didn't have the license to do Mega Man again. It was the same thing with Bloodstain. They don't have the license to do Castlevania. But if you look at the artwork of Bloodstained, even the title, it's Castlevania. It's just,
okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that was the game I saw that I was like, hold on, I gotta play this.
Yeah, those were really good. I did play those two.
And you can find a lot of indie games that cross over. Like, no, The Messenger is a game Gaines would like because it's based off of Ninja Gaiden, like, or Gaiden, I said Gaiden.
Ninja Gaiden.
But it's based off there. And there's like a bunch of them. Was it Metrovania? Is that what it's called? Gaines? Yeah.
Yeah, Metroidvanias.
There's a bunch of indie games that are like that.
Yeah. I played Indivisible on the PlayStation 4, and that was like that. So, and Steamworks Dig on I played on Stadia, but Roger, I know, played it on PC and stuff, and those are the same concept. So,
well, let's get into the first of the two big topics today. Last of Us 2 has received its review bombing, and it's quite crazy. Last of Us, the first one, had 9,000 reviews, and they were all pretty glowing. And then this one ends up getting 38,000 reviews, and the majority of them are absolutely just running it into the ground for whatever reason. We kind of lightly touched on this when Astral Chain came out, and a lot of people gave it terrible reviews because it was a Switch exclusive, and for no other reason but that, which ended up kind of dragging down its score. I mean, if you're kind of into score, or if a score will kind of help you figure out if you want to buy the game or get invested into it, that is something that could hurt it. But for Last of Us 2, I think this is the only AAA, or there may have been more that got hit, but I don't think any have been hit like this. And especially for the reasons it was hit, for, featuring scenes that showed, women kissing one another. I don't know the other way to put it, but I mean, that's pretty much what it was.
Two women together. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Or ultimately, just not liking the story. In that case, the question now I ask to you is, if you don't like something, does that automatically make it trash?
Well, I mean, a review is pretty much your personal opinion. Well, that's what it's supposed to be. You should never be making a review to try to incorporate other people's thoughts or opinions into your review. It's supposed to be your personal outlook on the game. So if for whatever reason you have something against seeing two women having a softcore scene, or whatever you want to call it, make out scene, that's going to influence their reviews, whether or not they put it in there. Like, they may not put it in because obviously they don't want to be like what I guess you would be called a bigot or something if you said you had a problem with that specifically.
Oh no, they've.
But I mean, I'm just
cited that.
Oh, I'm sure some did, but I'm saying some might have also just like pulled the story down, and that was really maybe something they had an issue with, but they didn't want to be seen in that light, so they just kind of like nitpicked other areas and then brought the score down, but that was the underlying issue, but they just covered it up. So I can understand it. Anytime you're going to have a huge game like that, you're going to suffer from, obviously, small things like that. If people have little issues with maybe some content in it, maybe some people feel it's too dark. Some people, you're just going to suffer because the first one was so good. A lot of times sequels I ain't gonna say they don't live up to it, but people just put them on like a god tier of expectations. And it's like, of course they're not going to live up to it because you think it's going to be perfect. And, they just never, it's kind of like when people read a book and then watch the movie. the movie never lives up to the book because it can't live up to your imaginations on how big you thought the castle was, how beautiful you thought the forest was, and all this. Is like, well, it's not your imagination. It was the producers. That's what he thought it looked like, so, but, and then kind of like what you said about the Nintendo exclusive pulling things down. It's kind of like how people will like buy a product from Amazon and give it 1 star because it showed up broken, like the package was destroyed. And it's like, well, that probably wasn't the seller. It probably got destroyed in transit from your mail provider. And that's not really a review of the product. The product, you can't review it if it showed up broken. That's so you don't say it's a bad product. But so you kind of got to just shift through those and try to find the one reviews that I guess actually feel like they have some good sustenance to them. But at the end of the day, you shouldn't use a review to actually decide whether you're going to buy the game or not. To be honest, I don't really know the point of reviews because, like I said, it's one person's opinion. They may give it a 1, you may give it a 10. So I would say don't even listen to reviews and just, go out and give it a shot on your own. Maybe just watch some videos of it and try to make your own decision, but keep the audio off. Pull a Shannon Sharp.
But at least still watch our reviews. Just watch ours. Ours are better.
That's funny because when I review stuff, I always be like, yo, like you shouldn't even really be listening to this. It's feel weird to say when you're reviewing a game, but it's like you may love it or you may hate it, and I loved it. So just
that's why usually in them download or not, I kind of give like a pro and con, like trying to give like, hey, these are the people I could see liking this game, and these are the people that I think you're just going to hate it no matter what. Like when you played in first-person puzzle games like Portal and all, a lot of people hate them games because you're not shooting anything. So it's like trying to do that review. But overall, I don't like reviews in general, especially when you get into the public voice, because everything's a 10 or a 0. Like that's majority of the noise. So it's like it's either complete crap or it's amazing. Which I find actually the best reviews to find is the ones that are rating it 6 and 5. And it's like, oh, okay, they put a little more thought and kind of broke down stuff. Last of Us 2, I think Gaines hit all the same points I had in my head. It was probably people expecting the same thing, but you would have got trashed if you got the same game.
Yep.
So it's hard to do that balance. Personally, for me, I know Last of Us 1, I never really completed it because it was slow to me at first. It was just a slow lag on, which maybe I won't like the second one because of that. But I'd still recognized it was a good game. It was well made. Of course, the voice acting, we always talk about Naughty Dog and the voice acting. So that's just something there. You just put on that high standard. And I think a lot of people just like trashing things now. Once anything gets good publicity or anything that is looked highly, is just going to get a backlash.
It's good clickbait.
Yeah.
If you see somebody give it like a 1, you're probably going to click it to be like, how in the hell did they give this game a 1? And you just fed into what they wanted. Whether they know you're probably not going to agree with it, but you clicked it. So that's good enough for a good revenue stream right there, or YouTube video and watch it. So,
Keith, I have your next idea for a video.
Oh God.
Trash Last of Us 2, but have the title say, "This is the greatest game ever made." See how far it gets you.
I actually think Keith did it fair, because he did mention that like he didn't like the story as much as 1.
Yeah, he also said he hated that girl on girl scene.
Huh?
He's like,
Never
wait
said
a
anything
second.
of the sort. I felt like this story kind of like was one of the reasons why I wanted to start doing reviews. It was because of it. It was like the idea of, does me not liking the story mean that it's a bad story? Is it like, and that was kind of like the thing I was thinking about when I was playing the game. I didn't like the story direction at all, but there were no plot holes, nothing that needed plot armor. The story made sense and it was cohesive and it was everything that you could ask for in a story. But I personally, felt a way about the story. But also the game making me feel a way, I guess, in a sense, kind of is a good story. It just is like this weird place, and the fact that people were getting so triggered and was sending death threats out to Naughty Dog and the people who worked on the game, it was like, well, I don't know if the story was so bad if you had to go take time out of your day to go send a death threat. I kind of, I feel like it was something, but it may have not. Like I said, it's not the thing that you like, but it's like the Metal Gear games. I don't like how stealth you gotta be because I tried to go loud and it did not work. Anytime I really tried to just be loud and shoot everybody up, but I do appreciate the game archetype and everything that it is.
Four
it's
and
just
five.
not for me. I think it was like
5.
4. I tried to go loud.
4 is like iffy. 5,
yeah.
you can go guns blazing, but that's why 4 and 5 are hated by the Metal Gear Solid community because they're not Metal Gear Solid games.
Wow.
They're just not. I mean, they're not.
He's spoken from the rep of the Metal Gear community.
I'm just saying. I mean, for instance, Tyrone loved Metal Gear Solid 5, and he said, he loved it, and that's why he bought Death Stranding. He thought Death Stranding was going to be like Metal Gear Solid 5. And I had to explain to him that that's not the real, foundation of Metal Gear Solid. Like, 5 was not a tactical stealth game. It's like an open world, westernized RPG, almost like a Far Cry or something. But it wasn't Metal Gear Solid. Death Stranding, it wasn't really Metal Gear Solid either, but it was very, very slow paced, like a Metal Gear Solid game, and it took stealth. I feel like it took stealth maybe a little too far, to where it really slowed the game down. To where if you're not like a huge Hideo Kojima fan or a fan of what he does, you are going to struggle through it. Like even if you finished it, I don't feel like many people that wasn't big fans of his or his work probably finished that game. And I mean, so like you said, or what Roger said, how I don't know. Damn it, I lost my point at the end of it. Someone said something, and that's what I was talking about. Continue.
All right. I guess from there we'll push into our final topic of the day. So Grand Theft Auto 5.
What a guess. We told you, Terry.
I think I learned somewhere that wave means help. I've been kidnapped. Help.
Oh, yeah, I got jokes.
The Grand Theft Auto 5. Are we good?
I'm reading my cooker. Keep going.
All right. Well, Grand Theft Auto 5 is at 130 million sold, probably more at this very moment in time, but 130 million sold. To me, that kind of puts it at the number 2. I know some people may look online and see Tetris is the number 1 selling game of all time, but even the people who own Tetris said they don't even know how many units they've ever sold. It's really weird. So because of that,
those
I kind of
skewed.
Yeah, it's something weird going on with Tetris, and
I mean, it was bundled with the Game Boy.
Yeah, there's also
like
that as well.
Sonic. Yeah.
But Minecraft
Sonic was bundled with Genesis. That's why.
Oh, I'm talking about the fact that Roger just had that game ready and waiting.
I was working on the Game Boy.
He has that game ready and waiting.
But Grand Theft Auto 5 is currently at 130 million sold, 500 million in microtransactions in 2019 by itself. When we talk about greatest game of all time and all these things, how much stock do you put into numbers?
I would say numbers. It's weird because I guess you could use numbers as a bar to measure it by. I would say that wouldn't be greatest game. I would say maybe it's most popular game. Probably a better category to put it in, since I would say the people who buy it, it would just show how popular the game is. But best game, again, is kind of like reviews. It's personal. You know, like you're going to pick a game that you personally like as your favorite game of all time. I mean, example, my favorite game of all time, Super Mario RPG. I'm sure there's games out there way better than Super Mario RPG, but not to me. So that's not really a logical, that's just pure emotion. So, I mean, I would say Keats is probably Final Fantasy 7.
Probably.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm sure there's games out there better than Final Fantasy 7. But
yeah. I think in this,
but that doesn't change your opinion. Someone asked you, what was the greatest game, you're going to say it's Final Fantasy VII. So I would say it's probably the most popular. The one thing I will say, though, is I hate microtransactions, but I do love the way they did it. Because if anyone's played Grand Theft Auto Online, like, it doesn't force you to purchase anything. It doesn't put anything outside of the range of you playing the game. Like, you know, sometimes they can put it to where you have to do the worst grinds imaginable, you know, to buy something. And it just kind of forces you without forcing you to pay money. And they don't really do that. They just say, hey, you know, if you want to just buy it right out, you can use your own money. But if you don't, you want to just play the game, you'll get it too. Like, it's not like it's unattainable. It's, you know, might take a little bit longer, but it's not like a stupid grind. The one thing I would like them to add in there is that you could do microtransactions to pay for prostitutes in the game. That'd be hilarious.
Well, I'm going to go on my point real quick.
That would be, I mean, how much money would they make off that? What if that like increase profits by like 20%? It'd just be hilarious.
It's very sad. Very sad. But I think it's more so, is it the game or is it like what the developers have been cranking out? Because they've been working on that for a long time, almost 6
it's
years.
Making so much damn money.
Yeah.
They making more money than people selling their DLC.
True.
So that's why I said I like their formula. It's like, I'll just give you a bunch of free content. And it seems like when you don't force people to pay, people are more eager to pay.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, good.
Especially in this game, because I mean, like, you look at some of the cars and some of the other kind of games they've partnered up with. Like the Tron bike was in the game.
Can't buy a yacht.
A yacht,
yeah, you buy a yacht. I mean, they got tons of clothes. It's so many things in there. And I think the only thing they charge you is you can just buy the money in the game.
Mm-hmm.
It's literally, I mean, you're not buying any content. It's just like, do you want to buy so many millions of dollars? It's like, okay, well, that's $20. And it's like, well, I can buy $500 million for maybe $50. And I mean, obviously, that's going to drastically change.
Yeah. And then if you don't want to buy it, you can freaking do heist, and the heist give you a lot of money, and those were free.
I think we were making like what, almost like $300-400K. Like when we pulled. Well, I know you had the one where you had to deliver the cars.
Yeah,
back when we used to play. Like,
a lot of money though.
Yeah, you did need a lot of money. Yeah,
to buy stuff, because a lot of cars were like $6 million, the good ones.
Yeah, but if you had the drug businesses, you could make a lot of money too. I know I had the weed houses and stuff. Those made quite a bit, especially when you level them up.
Yeah, and I think what also makes it also better is that every so often they're just like, you know what, y'all been good today. Here's $2 million in the game for no reason.
That's to entice you, get you money. Like what they're doing. Is it $10 million or $1 million every month?
$1 million every month.
Yeah,
$1 million every month until the new one comes out, or not the new one. The remaster.
Yeah.
The remaster of the remaster.
Just log on to online and there you go. That counts.
But anyways, since I didn't speak, Grand Theft Auto was my favorite game. I know when we did that talk, that was the one I mentioned. It was my favorite just because of just story and online and just everything around it. I thought it was a well fleshed out game that's still being fleshed out. To go to your numbers point, if you don't know, me and Keith listen to a lot of music, and I hate a lot of the popular albums. So like they don't make that. So that's the best comparison I could think of with like numbers versus the best game. A lot of the hip hop albums I like, no, probably only sold like 60,000 copies, if that. And it goes to your opinion and all. Like some reason like Grand Theft Auto 5. I don't think anyone else liked it as much as I did, because I'll probably buy it for the PS5 and beat the story all over again. For the 4th or 5th time.
I can't remember. Upgrade?
I don't know.
Also another free upgrades.
I don't know.
No, online is free. That's what.
Yeah, online. You get the online free. Yeah, Roger's right.
I was about to say something was free, but yeah. So I'll buy the story mode. But yeah, overall, it's like I think it is the personal opinion. Numbers shouldn't matter. Again, I'm a big indie fan, so a lot of my favorite games are indie games too. So that's about it.
Well, it looked like Terry's literally looking at Roger for real. Oh, he turned back. It looked like he was literally staring at Roger's like his little panel on the side.
I'm looking at my second screen.
Uh,
I was making sure that topics.
Keith is our topics.
Yeah.
He's topic king.
Well, as I have not played Grand Theft Auto, I really couldn't tell you if these numbers mean a whole lot or not.
Terrible.
But I did think it was interesting when they did hit that mile marker, and I
Terrible.
just saw all the numbers associated with this game. They're just absolutely
Good censorship,
stupid.
Roger.
Roger
had his hand over breastises.
Oh no,
Oh, God.
Children.
Okay.
Roger, no, we've been demonetized.
I can
But-
give that to Keith later.
No, I'm good. But as the most money making format of media of all formats, movies, music, Grand Theft Auto 5 holds its title. So I did think it was kind of interesting and something to reference before we left. But before we go, it's time to give our game recommendations to the people.
So what is it called?
I still haven't found the name yet. I
don't
still
know my
haven't.
name. I thought my name was good.
Oh, God.
Colorful gaming.
Colorful. Huh?
Colorful games. I don't. Okay.
I thought we were gonna just
That
do it
was-
like our colored game of the month.
Color
Yeah,
game.
no.
Okay. All right.
All right, so I'm
Roger,
gonna kick
what
this
is-
off on the Nintendo Switch.
Tell us what our colored game of the month is, Roger. What should me, Keith, and Terry be playing?
Roger, I'm gonna try to save you. On the Nintendo Switch, there's the
I just wanted to be
virtual
authentic.
Super Nintendo, I think, and the virtual Nintendo. Super Mario Brothers 3. I didn't have to pay anything for it. It's something great to go back to. Me and
Why
my
keep
sister
talking
actually
he just
just
hit the
beat it.
world's biggest blunt. I just need to pay.
So if you download the virtual consoles on the Switch, Super Mario Brothers 3 is there, free of charge. Don't have to pay anything for it, and it still holds up really well to this day.
Me and
Actually, me and
don't
Games
recommend
beat
it.
it not too long
No,
ago.
do not get the virtual console.
Get it.
Wait,
Buy
really?
it.
We were
Nintendo-
just lied to.
Yeah, Nintendo like just stopped promoting it. Like they don't even really be giving. I think it went 2 months, Roger, without giving out a Super Nintendo
It
game. or
seems
something?
like randomly it'd be like, yeah, it was like 2 or 3 month gap, and then it was like, oh, they're giving us something free finally.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
weird. It's like they just abandoned it. So
Buy it.
Just shit on my pick. What do y'all got?
No, Super Mario 3 is good.
Hmm.
I
Let's see. What do I
don't
have?
know.
The new Pokemon DLC. Even though it's if
Yeah.
you a lot of people probably haven't played it, man. I'm very if you haven't realized, there's 4 games I'm gonna recommend: Pokemon, RuneScape, and Kingdom Hearts. That's it. That's all you get from me.
I thought he was hitting the die line for a second.
But yeah, it's like $30 and you get both DLC and you get like it's 4 hours of content for it on the first one. So I mean, it's worth it if you already have the game. Just buy the DLC. A lot of people kind of put down the game and was like, "This is it," you know. But go ahead and do it. It's worth it.
How much is DLC?
$30 for 2.
Damn,
Wait, what now?
$30 for 2. Yeah.
What
is
does
for
that
two?
mean?
Oh, for
Yeah.
both DLCs that's coming out and this one that just came out and then the one that's coming out in September.
Oh, so they kind
So
of
it's
like
4 hours a
passed it.
piece.
So far on the first one, it was 4 hours worth of content.
Well, was it 4
so
hours
8
of content, or was it 4 Terry hours of content?
No, 4 hours.
Those are
probably
different. The Terry will crush those Pokemon games. So was it really like 50 hours, and he just caught everything in 4?
Oh, I guess if you add in the catching part, it's probably about another 10 hours.
Okay.
Oh, there you go. Or I can just say RuneScape. Is that better,
RuneScape,
games?
Yeah, you
RuneScape.
do love RuneScape.
You got free to play, or you can pay $11. There you go.
All right, Roger and Games.
Roger,
Leave it
go.
in suspense.
Okay.
I always
I was-
leave it off, so I was gonna wrap it up.
Okay. I was trying to think because I feel like I make these
Well, not wrapping
like
up. Keith was last. No, Keith was first. So yeah, I'm wrapping it up.
Super Mario Brothers 3 was mine.
Keeping it safe.
I always feel like I pick what I'm currently playing. Trying to mix into an indie game I played a while back is Katana Zero. That was a fun game. It's about 3 hours. It's not long at all. but it's cool mechanics of slow down, and it's very adult game. So just be careful with that. And I'll mix in currently playing Tony Hawk. So if you haven't played any Tony Hawks, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2, it's really good to me so far.
My game that I'm going to recommend is kind of a twofold thing, game and platform. I'm actually going to recommend playing Destiny 2.
Oh my gosh.
For some reason I fell back in love with Destiny 2. But I'll recommend you play on Stadia because I need my shared wisdom. So
technically you can play on any platform there, games.
Yeah, I always come over to PlayStation to play with Keith and play with Terry. I mean, not Terry, Zoe and B whenever I catch B on.
He missed the word. He was forcefully supposed to go over to the PS4. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah.
I'm forcefully pushed to go over there to play. But, I mean, the majority of the time I'm playing on Stadia.
Me and Terry have it on PC.
Yeah, how about everybody just come to Steam? You can't use the excuse of I have to start over because you won't have to start over. So what's your excuse now?
Yeah, but I may have to update. I'm too spoiled with just running in the room and just starting it up and getting to play for a while and then just leaving. But yeah, I mean I've been enjoying the new Destiny content, so I would recommend playing that. And I'll just I mean you get it for free, so I mean you can't beat that. And you don't have to pay for the season pass. So you get all that for free. At least so far. I don't know when they're stopping that. I'm surprised they haven't stopped it by now.
Yeah.
I mean,
no, their base model right now is everything is free. So you get free up to right before Forsaken, or maybe it's Forsaken.
No. I mean on Stadia you don't pay for the season pass, like the Seasons of the Worthy and all that stuff. You don't have to pay the $10 to unlock it. For some reason they just pay it for you. I don't know why. But that's the only bad part about when I play on PlayStation with Keith and them. I have to pay the $10 because that doesn't carry over. So I end up being forced to pay $10. But
so you're saying they should pay for you?
Yeah, that would be nice.
I mean, they can do it. They can easily come on to, it's free on Steam.
What's free on Steam?
Destiny.
The season pass?
No.
Sure.
Stop spreading false information. But yeah, Destiny 2. But another game I guess would be the Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition. That'd be a great game to play, especially if you're looking for something to like really just throw a lot of time in, or if you got a lot of downtime, especially a lot of people trying to stay in the house for the most part. That's definitely something that would pass a lot of time, and it's a good thing that you could kind of get lost in and lose track of time. So that's always good when you're stuck at home. So are those picks okay, Massa Lamb?
Didn't know.
Once again, Roger, you should probably just not say nothing right now.
All right, Keith, I think that's about time to sign us out here after that one.
That being said, everybody, thanks for tuning into this podcast. This has been the Almost in Full Color panel with my co-creators, Plucka, T the Best, Yellow Squirrel. All right, everybody, you know the drill. Be blessed, be easy. We're praying for you. Peace.